A millionaire CEO walked into a spa and offered a poor massage therapist $1 million for one night. He said no. So she offered $10 million. He said no again. What happened next broke the internet and broke her completely. Watch till the end. You won't see this coming. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now. Like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. And before we begin, rate this story from 0 to 10 in the comments. Enjoy the story, everyone. Victoria Cole didn't lose. Not in boardrooms. Not in negotiations. Not in life. At 34, she was the CEO of Parker Group, a billion-dollar empire she had built from nothing. Her name made investors nervous. Her handshake closed deals that other people spent years chasing. She had 3 offices across 2 continents, a penthouse that overlooked the entire city, and a calendar so full her assistant needed an assistant. She had everything. And today she wanted to disappear. Not forever, just for a few hours. Away from the meetings, the cameras, the constant performance of being Victoria Cole. "Take me somewhere no one knows me," she told Sophie, not looking up from the window. "Or I swear I'll lose it before the next call." Sophie paused. "Then, there's a small spa. Old part of town. Nothing flashy. No press. No social media. Completely off the radar. Book it." 20 minutes later, the car stopped in front of a worn building. No grand entrance. No marble floors. Just a small wooden sign, hand-painted. Lotus Flower Eastern Therapies. Victoria stepped out, adjusted her sunglasses, looked at the sign for a moment, then walked in. The space was quiet. Soft scent of lavender. No fake background music. No heavy incense. Just stillness. "Full session," she told the receptionist. "Your best person. Ethan is." The receptionist caught herself. "Ethan is available. He's our most requested." Victoria didn't reply. She walked to the room, kicked off her heels, unbuttoned her blazer, and lay down. She had no idea what was waiting on the other side of that door. The door opened. He didn't announce himself dramatically. Didn't fill the room with energy or charm or that particular kind of confidence men use when they want to impress someone. He just entered. "Good afternoon. I'm Ethan. Whenever you're ready, we can begin." Victoria turned her head slightly. Young, fit, short dark hair. Expression calm. Not the kind of calm that's practiced. The kind that just exists. He wasn't looking at her like she was Victoria Cole, billionaire CEO. He wasn't looking at her like she was a woman worth impressing. He was looking at her like she was someone who needed help. That was new. "I'm in a hurry," she said. "Just do what you need to do." He nodded, washed his hands, and began. His touch was precise, professional, but there was something else, an attention to detail that felt almost impossible, like he could feel exactly where the tension lived before his hands even arrived there. Victoria shivered, not from pain, surprise maybe, or something she didn't have a word for yet. "How long have you been doing this?" she asked, almost without meaning to. Ethan didn't look up. Long enough to know when a body needs silence. Victoria went quiet, because for the first time in years, someone was touching her without wanting anything back, and she had absolutely no idea what to do with that. She came back the next day, and the day after that. Same room, same table, same request, Ethan. No substitutes. On the 3rd day, she waited until the session ended. Then, "Have dinner with me tonight. Nothing formal. Just time outside of here." "No," Ethan said, simply, like the word required no explanation. Victoria blinked. "You're turning down dinner?" "Yes." She tried again the next visit. This time she came prepared. She reached into her blazer, pulled out an envelope, and placed it on the table between them. $1 million, she said. "One night. Private hotel. No follow-up. No contact after. Clean and simple." Ethan looked at the envelope. Didn't touch it. Victoria slid it into the pocket of his uniform. "You don't have to answer now. Think about it." Ethan reached into his pocket, took the envelope out, slowly, carefully, and placed it back on the table. "I already thought about it." He looked at her. It's still no. Victoria stared at him. 10 years. Not one person had said no to something she offered. Not once. You're turning down $1 million. I'm turning down the idea of selling myself. The words landed quietly, but they hit like something heavy dropped on stone. Victoria didn't say another word. She picked up her bag, walked past the front desk, shoved the glass door open, and told her driver to start the car before she had even fully stepped outside. What she didn't see was a junior spa employee, phone already out, recording. Just a few seconds. Victoria's face. The door. The storm of a woman who clearly didn't get what she wanted. The caption. When the rich lady's offer gets rejected by the masseur. By midnight, 50,000 views. Victoria found out when Sophie called, voice careful. Mrs. Cole, have you seen social media today? She opened Instagram. The comments hit harder than the views. Finally, someone put that arrogance in check. Did she actually offer him money? Embarrassing. The guy has more integrity than her entire company. Victoria closed the app. Opened it again. Closed it. She called her marketing team. Take it down. Now. We can't. Private account. No copyright claim. And Mrs. Cole, the more we push, the more attention it gets. She hung up. By morning, 500,000 views. Trending. YouTube. TikTok. Twitter. Millionaire CEO humiliated by poor masseur. Victoria sat alone in her penthouse, billion-dollar view, empty room, and realized something she had never once felt before. She was the joke. By morning, Victoria had made 3 calls. The third was the best private investigator in the city. Full background. Ethan Zhao. Everything. I want to know what brand of toothpaste he uses. 24 hours later, Sophie walked in with a folder. Victoria grabbed it. 3 pages. That was it. She flipped through slowly. No Facebook. No Instagram. No LinkedIn. No digital footprint of any kind. Small apartment downtown. Rented. No car. No criminal record. Never married. No close family in the country. This doesn't make sense, Victoria said. Nobody lives without leaving a trace. The investigator said the same thing. Sophie hesitated. There's something else. His records show he graduated high school. Then nothing. 3 years completely blank. No college enrollment. No employment. No address. Nothing. Victoria looked up. 3 years. He just disappears. Then reappears 2 years ago, working in massage clinics. Starting from zero. Victoria set the folder down. 3 years. No trace. No explanation. People didn't just vanish like that. Not unless they were hiding. Not unless something had happened. Something serious enough to make a person erase themselves completely. The investigator's words sat in her mind. It's like he erased his own past. Or someone erased it for him. Victoria stared at the 3 thin pages and couldn't stop thinking about that gap. The call came at 4 in the afternoon. Mrs. Cole, we found something. Victoria's security contact placed a photo on her desk 20 minutes later. Old, slightly faded, but clear enough. Ethan younger, maybe 22 or 23. Expensive suit, easy smile, standing next to an older man in front of a glass business building. Relaxed, comfortable, like he belonged there, like he owned the place. Where did you get this? Archive police file. 3 years old. The contact kept his voice low. The investigation was into money laundering, shell companies, complex financial structure. Ethan appeared in the records as a witness. Victoria looked closer at the older man beside Ethan. Something familiar. And the man next to him. Henry Zhao, owner of Lotus Flower Spa, the place where Ethan works. The room went very quiet. After Ethan appeared as a witness, he vanished. Completely. The case was classified shortly after. No follow-up. No further records. The contact paused. Mrs. Cole, someone protected him. Buried his trail deliberately. And that someone has been keeping him close ever since. Victoria set the photo down. Ethan wasn't just a massage therapist. He was being protected. The question was, from what? Victoria found Henry Zhao at his restaurant the next morning. He was arranging teacups behind the counter when she walked in. He looked up, saw her expression, and smiled genuinely, without any trace of concern. Mrs. Cole, I was wondering when you'd come. Victoria placed a photo on the counter between them. Henry looked at it, then laughed. Not nervously, not defensively, actually laughed. Money laundering, Victoria said. Classified investigation. Ethan as a witness. You're protecting him. Explain. Henry picked up the photo, studied it fondly. This was taken the day I offered him a job. He set it down. Ethan had been sleeping on the streets for 2 weeks. No money, no ID, nothing. Victoria stared. He showed up at my back door one night asking for a glass of water. Henry poured tea into 2 cups unhurried. I offered him a meal. He refused until I let him wash dishes first. And the police investigation? He witnessed a robbery on the street, reported it. They photographed him for the witness record because he had no identification at the time. Henry slid 1 cup toward her. No corruption, no laundering, just a homeless young man doing the right thing. Victoria looked at the photo again. Ethan, smiling, relaxed. He had absolutely nothing, Henry said quietly, but he had dignity. He looked at Victoria. Do you know how rare that is? Victoria didn't answer, because she didn't have one. Henry left them alone. Victoria looked at Ethan. He was staring at the table, somewhere far away. Tell me, she said, simply. No pressure, no demand. Just tell me. Ethan was quiet for a long moment. Then, my full name is Ethan Zhao Jiang. Victoria went still. Henry is my uncle, my mother's brother. Ethan looked up. I was born into the Zhao family. Zhao Corporation, construction, technology, real estate across 12 countries. My grandfather built it. My father expanded it into billions. Victoria didn't move. I was the heir. Harvard MBA. 5 years of grooming, boardrooms, negotiations, international deals. I was being prepared to take over everything. He paused. Then 3 years ago, my younger brother Nathan died in Bangkok. How? Officially suicide. Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. But the truth is darker than that. Victoria watched his face. After Nathan, I couldn't stay. Couldn't sign contracts. Couldn't look at my father. Couldn't be the heir to something built on lies. He looked at her steadily. So I walked away. No money. No cards. No contact. I wanted them to think I was gone. And were you? Ethan looked at his hands. For 3 years, yes. Victoria didn't speak. She waited. Ethan looked at the window, at the city outside, like the words were somewhere out there, and he had to find them carefully. Nathan was handling a construction contract in Bangkok. $50 million. Government project. His voice was flat, controlled. It was corrupt, overpriced. He was deceiving the Thai authorities, and he knew it. He didn't care. What did you do? I told him I'd expose it. Everything. Publicly. Ethan's hands tightened on the table. We fought badly. He called me naive. Said I didn't deserve to be the family heir. A pause. I flew to Bangkok to confront him in person. Victoria waited. When I landed, he was already in the hospital. Ethan stopped. Swallowed hard. Car accident. The doctor said it was deliberate. The room was very quiet. The last thing I said to my brother, Ethan's voice dropped, was that he was a disgrace to the family. Victoria reached across the table, her hand over his. You didn't know, she said quietly. Ethan looked at her, something raw in his eyes. He was my younger brother. His voice barely held. It was my job to protect him, not judge him. The moment Ethan walked into that boardroom, something shifted, not dramatically, not with a speech or an entrance, just the way he stood, the way he listened, the way his eyes moved across the 3 Korean investors like he was reading something written between their words. Victoria watched him work. He didn't just translate, he interpreted. When she said something too direct, he softened it. When the investors hesitated, he noticed before she did. When Park Sung raised concerns about social responsibility, Ethan turned it into a collaboration opportunity before Victoria had even processed the question. 3 hours later, the deal closed. $15 million. In the hallway after, Victoria turned to him. You were extraordinary in there. Ethan looked away. I just used what I knew. That wasn't interpreting. That was negotiating. She stepped closer. That was the air. He didn't answer. Then quietly, almost to himself, "I'm falling in love with you, Victoria." Silence. Ethan froze. Victoria stared at him. "I meant." He looked at her. Something unguarded in his eyes. "I'm falling in love with you, Victoria." She didn't step back. She held his face in both hands. "I'm falling in love with you too." They kissed right there in the hallway, and neither of them pulled away for a long time. It started on a Wednesday morning. Sophie burst into the office. "Mrs. Cole, we have a problem." The company had been hacked. Client files, financial data, confidential contracts, everything leaked. By noon, the calls started. Investors pulling out, partners canceling, Park Sung called personally. "Mrs. Cole, we cannot be associated with a company that cannot protect sensitive data." He hung up before she could respond. $15 million, gone in one phone call. By evening, an offer arrived to purchase Parker Group, 20% above market value. Victoria looked at the buyer's name. Zhao International Holdings. Wei Ming Zhao. She sat very still for a long moment. The hack, the cancellations, the perfectly timed crisis. All of it is not random, not coincidence. Orchestrated, deliberately, to destroy her company and force one specific person home. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Ethan. Victoria. His voice was tight. "I know what happened. I saw the news." "Your father." Silence. "Then, sell the company. Take his money. Stay away from me." "Never." "Victoria." "I said never." Her voice didn't waver. Not to him. Not for anything. Ethan went quiet. A long silence. Then low, certain, and different from anything she'd heard from him before. "Tomorrow I stop running." A pause. "And I start fighting." Wei Ming Zhao walked into the boardroom like he owned it. Cold eyes. Measured steps. The expression of a man who had never once lost. Victoria sat at the head of the table. Lawyers on both sides. The offer was open in front of her. Then the door opened again. Everyone looked up. Ethan. Dark suit. Shoulders back. Eyes clear. Steady. No hesitation. "Hello, father." Wei Ming Zhao went very still. Ethan walked to the table, placed a folder in the center. "I filed a lawsuit last week to unfreeze my family shares, the ones you illegally blocked after you declared me dead." He opened the folder. "The courts released my assets yesterday. I have enough to buy Parker Group myself, 20% above original market value." Wei Ming's jaw tightened. "You don't know what you're doing." "I know exactly." Ethan looked at his father. Calm. No anger. Just truth. Nathan was sensitive. Like me. The difference is, I found someone who gives me strength instead of breaking me. Wei Ming said nothing. Victoria stood. "I'm selling to Ethan." Wei Ming looked between them. Fury, disbelief, something older underneath both. Ethan stepped toward him. "The man who took me fishing when I was 5. He's still in there. When he's ready to talk, not threaten, not control, just talk. I'll be here." Wei Ming left without another word. Ethan turned to Victoria. Then slowly got down on one knee. A small box. Simple ring. His mother's. "Victoria Cole, will you marry me?" Knowing I'll still want to work with my hands sometimes. Knowing my family is complicated. Knowing I chose you over everything else. And I choose you again every time. Victoria was already crying. Yes, the beach wedding was small. Just waves, a sunset, and Henry Zhao clapping from the front row. 6 months later, a cherry tree arrived at their new home. A card tucked between the branches. For shade and blossoms. A father who is learning. Ethan planted it himself. And sometimes, when no one was watching, Victoria would find him standing beside it. Just standing. Quietly. Like some kinds of love deserve patience too. Victoria Cole offered everything money could buy. $1 million. 10 million. Her entire world. Ethan Zhao said no every time. Until love gave him a reason to say yes. Rate this story from 0 to 10 in the comments below. And tell me, did Ethan make the right choice coming back? Subscribe and turn on notifications. The next story is already waiting.